Students, we shall now read and understand part 2 of the chapter Let's March. My only aim in life is that every child is free to be a child, free to grow and develop, free to eat, sleep and see daylight, free to laugh and cry, free to play and learn, free to go to school and above all free to dream. I have the privilege of working with many courageous people who have the same aim. We have never given up against any threat or attack, and we never will. We have made progress in the last couple of decades. We have reduced the number of out of school children by half. We have reduced the number of child laborers by a third. We have reduced child mortality and malnutrition, and we have prevented millions of child deaths. But let us make no mistake, great challenges still remain. In this paragraph, Satyarthi tells the audience that his only aim in life is that every child should be a free child, free to grow and develop, free to eat, sleep, see daylight, free to laugh, cry, to play, learn, go to school, free to dream. And he tells the audience that he has had the privilege of working with many courageous people who have supported him in this cause, the fight against child labor or bonded labor. And he says that he, along with his colleagues, have never given up against any threat or attack, even if they have not given up, even though they have been threatened or attacked. And he says that they will never. And because of their fight against child labor, they have made progress in the last couple of decades. They have been able to reduce the number of out of school children by half. They have also reduced the number of child laborers by a third, and also helped to reduce child mortality, child death rate, and malnutrition. But he says this is not enough. Great challenges still remain. Friends, the biggest challenge or biggest crisis knocking on the doors of humankind is fear and intolerance. We have utterly failed our children in imparting an education that gives the meaning and objective of life, an education that gives a sense of global citizenship among the youth. I am afraid that the day is not very far away when the cumulative result of this failure will culminate in an unprecedented violence, and that will be suicidal for humankind. Rights, security, hope can only be restored through education. Young people like Malala, I've started calling her my daughter Malala, not just Malala. So my daughter Malala and other daughters including Kainat, in fact, two, Kainats and Shazia, and the daughters from Africa and from all over the world. They are rising up and choosing peace over violence, tolerance over extremism, and courage over fear. The solutions are emerging, but these solutions cannot be found in the deliberations and conferences alone, and cannot be found in prescriptions from a distance. They lie in small groups and local organizations and individuals who are confronting with the problem every day. Even if they remain unacknowledged, unrecognized, and unknown to the world, the solutions are with them. In this paragraph, Kailash Satyarthi tells the audience that the biggest challenge or biggest crisis knocking on the doors of humankind is fear and intolerance. He tells the audience that the world has utterly failed in imparting an education to children, an education that gives meaning and objective to life, an education that gives global citizenship among the youth. And he says that a day is not very far away when the cumulative result of this failure will culminate, will end in an unprecedented violence. Unprecedented is never known violence, which could be suicidal for humankind. Rights, security, and hope can only be restored through education. That he says security, hope, and right can be obtained only through education. He further talks about Malala and Kainat and Shazia. These three girls, they were hit by the shower of Taliban bullets when they were going for an exam in Mingora, northwest Pakistan. And they survived but were faced with life changing consequences. The writer tells us that a number of organizations are helping children from all over the world to rise and choose peace over violence, tolerance over extremism, and courage over fear. The solutions are emerging, but these solutions cannot be found in deliberations and conferences. Deliberations is long discussion after careful thinking. So, this solution cannot be found in deliberation in conferences. They cannot be found in prescription from a distance. They lie in small groups and local organizations and individuals who are confronting these problems every day. So the solutions lie with these small groups and local organizations and individuals. We can do it. You may ask that, what can one person do? I would recall a story of my childhood. A heavy fire had broken out in the forest. All the animals were running away, including the lion, the king of the forest. Suddenly, then he saw a tiny bird rushing towards the fire. He asked the bird, "What are you doing?" To the lion's surprise, the bird replied, "I am going to extinguish the fire." The lion laughed and said, "How can you do it keeping just one drop of water in your beak?" The bird was adamant, and she said, "I am doing my bit." 18 years ago, millions of individuals marched across the globe and demanded a new international law for the abolition of worst form of child labor. And it has happened. We did it. Millions of individuals did it. Friends, we live in an age of rapid globalization. We are connected through high speed internet. We exchange our goods and services in one single global market. Thousands of flights every day connect us from one corner to another corner of the globe. But there is one serious disconnect, and there is a lack of compassion. Let us inculcate and transform these individuals' compassion into a global compassion. Here in this paragraph, Kailash Satyarthi tells the audience that he recalls a story of his childhood days. The story is a fire having broken out in the forest, the animals running away, including the king of the forest, the lion. He sees a tiny bird rushing towards the fire, and he asks the bird what it was doing. The bird replied that it was going to extinguish the fire. The lion laughed at the bird, saying, "How could it keep just one drop of water in her beak?" The bird was adamant, and she said that she is doing her bit. What is the message that we get from this story? It conveys to us that we must try to do whatever we can to improve matters. We must not think that our efforts are insignificant. We must never think, what can one person do? Because every little drop counts. If each of us makes a little bit of effort, the sum total will be quite great and substantial. So this is the message that Kailash Satyarthi wants to give the audience, that each one of us should do our bit. Each one of us should put in an effort in order that the sum total is substantial. He further says that yes, each one really did their bit. He said millions of individuals marched across the world demanding a new international law to abolish the worst form of child labor. And it did happen. Millions of individuals did make it happen. He further says that we live today in an age of rapid globalization. We are interconnected through high speed internet. We exchange goods and services in one single global market. There is rapid globalization. Flights are every day connect us from one corner of the world to another. But there is one serious disconnection. And what is that disconnect? There is lack of compassion. So Kailash Satyarthi in his address speech tells us to inculcate and transform individuals' compassion into a global compassion. So have global compassion. Mahatma Gandhi said, if we are to teach real peace in this world, we shall have to begin with the children. I humbly add, let us unite the world through the compassion for our children. I ask, whose children are they who stitch footballs yet never played with one? Whose children are they who harvest cocoa yet have never tasted chocolate? Whose children are they who are dying of Ebola? Whose children are they who are kidnapped and held hostage? They are all our children. I remember an 8-year-old girl we rescued from intergenerational forced labor from stone quarries. When she was sitting in my car right after her rescue, she asked me, why did you not come earlier? Her angry question still shakes me and has the power to shake the whole world. Her question is for all of us. What are we doing? What are we waiting for? How many girls will be allowed to go without rescue? Children are questioning our inaction and watching our actions. We need collective actions with a sense of urgency. Every single minute matters. Every single child matters. Every single childhood matters. Therefore, I challenge the passivity and pessimism surrounding our children. I challenge this culture of silence and this culture of passivity, this culture of neutrality. Here in this paragraph, Satyarthi quotes what Mahatma Gandhi said, that if we have to teach real peace in the world, we should begin with our children. Then he says, I humbly add, that we have to unite the world through having compassion for our children. He tells the audience that there are a number of children who work as laborers. They stitch footballs, but they have never played with one. There are children who harvest cocoa, you see in the picture below, but have never tasted chocolate. Children dying of Ebola. Children who are kidnapped and held hostage. He tells the audience that all these children are the children of the world. They are all our children. He then remembers how he had rescued an 8-year-old girl from intergenerational forced labor from stone quarries. Intergenerational is involving several generations. So, from several generations, this girl and her family were forced into labor. And when she was rescued, she was sitting in Satyarthi's car and she asked Kailash Satyarthi a question. The question was that why had he not come earlier? Satyarthi tells the audience that her angry question shook him and it has the power to shake the whole world also. He tells the audience that this question is for all of us. What are we doing and what are we waiting for? How many girls will be allowed to go without rescue? There are a number of children who are working as bonded laborers, and it is our responsibility to take action. He says that children are questioning our inaction, they are watching all our actions, and that we need a collective effort with a sense of urgency. There is an urgency to rescue a number of children and to stop child labor. He tells the audience that every single minute matters, every single child matters, every single childhood matters. We have to be active. We haven't to be passive and pessimist. Who is a pessimist? A person who sees the worst aspects of things or believes that the worst will happen. So Satyarthi tells the audience that he challenges this passivity and pessimism that surrounds the children. He challenges this culture of silence, this culture of passivity, and this culture of being neutral. He wants the people to be proactive. He doesn't want people to be silent, just observe what is happening, just take it for granted. He wants mankind to do some collective action in order to stop child labor. He says that there is a sense of urgency. We need collective action. We need to take some measures to stop child labor or bonded labor.